everybody, Aisin here. I have finally reached level 100 on Blankstare, but before we can get to the server wipe, I want to talk about why I chose to play in main Blankstare all the way to level 100, as well as my overall impressions of him. I chose Blankstare mainly because I really like his reference to Hero Brian. And in most other games and media, the ones who are usually represented are EXCs and creepypastas. Don't get me wrong, those are pretty cool. But I've been wanting to play as like Hero Brian or like a character of it for a while. So when I saw Blankstare, or at least like a bootleg version of Hero Brian in this game, that alone was enough to make me want to play him. Another reason I continued maining Blankstare was because he actually gave me some of the most views and subscribers I gained on my channel. Seeing that people were interested in my content encouraged me to keep playing him and eventually reach level 100 with him. Blankstare's gameplay is okay. It can definitely be fun, but over time it can also become repetitive and boring. His general gameplay is basically place your totems, defend your totems, build rage, hope the survivors aren't coordinated enough to destroy your totems, or complete generators, chase survivors, siphon them, and build even more range. When everything goes according to plan, Blankstare can feel really powerful. However, I don't always find the gameplay very satisfying because the strategy can become repetitive after playing him for a long time. Of course, this is just my personal opinion. Other players might find the totem focused gameplay more enjoyable than I do. I think Blankstare is unbalanced, but not necessarily because he's too strong overall. Blankstare is extremely powerful against smaller or uncoordinated lobbies because there are fewer survivors to deal with the totems. Blankstare can defend them much more effectively if the survivors aren't communicating or don't know how to deal with his totems. He can build rage very quickly and eventually overwhelm the entire lobby. However, the situation completely changes when you are playing against a larger or more coordinated team. Against competent survivors, Blankstare can feel like he's constantly stuck in a lose-lose situation. If you stay near your totems to defend them, you're giving the survivors more time to feel the generators, heal, prepare, anything like that. But if you leave your totems to chase a survivor, the survivors can destroy your totems almost immediately. His chase potential also doesn't help much. If your siphon gets countered, all the damage or chip damage you gain from defending your totems can simply be healed, making a lot of your previous progress feel meaningless. So while Blankstare can completely dominate weaker lobbies or teams, he can struggle heavily against survivors who know exactly what they're doing. Most of the problems I already mentioned already come from his balancing, but the biggest problem I have with Blankstare is how much of a pub stomper he is. He can destroy inexperienced or uncoordinated teams, but against good teams he has very little options. Don't get me wrong, a skilled Blankstare player he'd still put up a fight against a competent team, but eventually the weaknesses of his kit becomes much more noticeable. At least other Terminators have tools that allow them to deal with strong teams. For example, Party Pony has enough damage to quickly eliminate a survivor and create pressure. The X has the speed, tunneling potential, and tools that can keep pressure. These Terminators can still be destroyed or beaten by good teamwork, but at least they have ways to fight back or ways of having a chance. Blankstare on the other hand can feel like he's being heavily bullied once the survivors understand how to counter his strategy. Or in general just know what they're doing and becoming patient overall. Personally, I think Blankstare needs a full rework. I don't necessarily think that the goal should be to make him stronger. Instead, his gameplay should be made healthier and more enjoyable for both the Terminators and the survivors. His current kit can be extremely oppressive against weaker teams, while feeling almost useless against stronger ones. A rework could give a more consistent way to apply pressure without making his totems completely overwhelming. Most importantly, I think his gameplay should have more variety so that Blankstare doesn't constantly revolve around the same totem defending loop, for in my opinion. Overall, I still enjoyed my time with Blankstare enough to reach level 100, and I don't regret maining him. He's a really interesting character because of his Herobrine inspiration, and he almost become one of the successful characters I covered or grind on my channel. However, reaching level 100 also gave me enough time to see his biggest strengths and weaknesses. He's incredibly fun when he successfully controls the match, but his gameplay can become very repetitive and his effectiveness changes drastically depending on the skill and coordination of the survivors. I hope Blankstare eventually gets some changes or a rework that make him more consistent and enjoyable to play. But I do know he's currently getting a new rework to his new ability Siphon. It looks really cool. But anyways, thanks for listening. This is my first time making a video like this. So if you have any criticism, correction, or suggestion for how I can improve my reviews, please let me know. And please don't forget to like and subscribe too. Anyways, here's some server wipes.